Hello there, dear friend. It is truly a soul-warming pleasure to have you here with us at Books and More. In this quiet corner of the digital world, we dedicate ourselves to distilling the original essence of profound books, offering you their core values and life-changing insights so you can grow and learn while honoring your own precious time. Think for a moment about how often we turn to a screen for comfort, for escape, or for a story that makes us feel seen. But behind that familiar red logo lies a journey far more dramatic than any movie it streams. Today, we invite you to explore the world of Reed Hastings and the rise of Netflix, a story marked by audacious dreams, high-stakes gambles, and a relentless drive to rethink everything we thought we knew about entertainment. How does a small business, once dismissed by industry giants, end up rewriting the rules of Hollywood? What secrets lie within a workplace culture that trades strict rules for absolute freedom and radical responsibility? And is it truly possible for a vision to be so bold that its only real competitor becomes the human need for sleep? In our own lives, we often face moments where we must decide whether to hold on to the safety of the past or leap into an uncertain future. This story is a gentle reminder that even the most daunting transitions can lead to something beautiful if we have the courage to trust our vision and learn from our mistakes. I wish you a day filled with quiet clarity and the inspiration to embrace your own path with confidence. Now, take a deep breath, settle in, and let us begin our journey together into the remarkable story of Netflix.
The power of innovation and corporate culture. The world has changed at a staggering pace with the emergence of the internet. Our habits of living, shopping, and consuming have shifted so rapidly that existing products and services can become obsolete in the blink of an eye. I believe the greatest challenge for any business today, regardless of its size, is the ability to innovate to survive in the digital era and, more importantly, to apply technology for breakthrough growth. Usually, when we talk about creativity, we imagine traits like freedom, spontaneity, or the emotional nature of an artist. But does a creative enterprise truly operate that way? Scholars suggest that the character and culture of an organization are always influenced and even entirely shaped by its founders. If you have ever wondered what a truly innovative company looks like, then the story of Netflix is essential. Netflix is famous for being a business that has undergone a remarkably successful digital transformation in the technology and entertainment industries. Today, almost every family has a Netflix account, and watching movies on the platform has become a global norm. Pre-installed on smart TVs and boasting billions of downloads, Netflix is a testament to its own dominance. However, this success did not come easily. From its inception, this household name had to face many industry giants. With a broad vision and a keen sense of technological trends, Netflix proved its mettle against the ruthless tactics of competitors like Blockbuster. While Blockbuster eventually faced a bitter end in bankruptcy, Netflix rose by pivoting its business model towards digital platforms. Transitioning from the leading DVD rental service in the US to an on-demand streaming giant, it sparked an entertainment revolution on internet television.
Revolutions require extraordinary leadership, and Reed Hastings has been the soul of Netflix's journey. He is the mastermind behind the streaming revolution and the creator of a unique corporate culture that allows employees to work with high levels of freedom and trust. His wise partnership strategies and humanitarian philosophy have guided the company through countless ups and downs. True innovation is not about emotional whims. It requires an ambitious vision, a deep understanding of unmet user needs, and unwavering discipline. Real heroes do not just defeat others, they overcome and conquer themselves. Netflix is a prime example of such an organization, always ready to surpass its own peak achievements and venture into new hardships with a desire for even greater heights. This story captures the essence of that unwavering character and relentless creativity.
Portrait of Reed Hastings and the foundation of a career. I have spent years observing the trajectory of Netflix and its enigmatic leader, Reed Hastings, trying to understand how a company that began with red envelopes and physical discs could eventually bring Hollywood to its knees. If we want to find the exact moment the tide turned for modern entertainment, we must look at a single Tuesday in January 2007. On that day, Netflix was just a relatively modest website, known for mailing DVDs to 5 million subscribers. But then, they launched a bold new service that allowed members to watch quality movies and shows instantly on their computers. Unlike the shaky, homemade pet videos on YouTube at the time, Netflix provided high-quality content that freed viewers from the rigid schedules of traditional television. This was the birth of binge-watching, a move that shifted power from massive media corporations into the hands of individuals. However, behind this digital revolution is a man whose personality and background are as complex as the algorithms his company uses. Reed Hastings Jr. was born in 1960 into a family with a deep tradition of innovation and engineering. His great-grandfather, Alfred Lee Loomis, was a legendary physicist who helped develop the EEG for brain scans and the LORAN navigation system used in World War II. Despite his current status as a multi-billionaire, Reed has always preferred a quiet, unpretentious life. He is often seen in dark jeans and simple shirts, sporting a casual goatee and an easygoing demeanor that belies his intense competitive drive. He learned a valuable lesson about the hollow nature of status early in his career when, after selling his first company, a newspaper ran a photo of him lounging on the hood of his brand new Porsche with a caption that mocked his sudden wealth. From that point on, he chose to focus on substance over flash.
His path to success was anything but linear. Before he became a tech titan, Reed spent a year going door-to-door selling rainbow vacuum cleaners. He describes this experience as a great door into the world of business because it forced him to engage with all kinds of people and master the art of persuasion. Even his attempt at a military career taught him something vital about himself. During a summer at a Marine boot camp, he realized he was not suited for a life of following orders blindly. Instead, he joined the Peace Corps and spent 3 years teaching math in Eswatini. It was there, amidst the wide-open spaces of Africa and the camaraderie of fellow teachers, that his creative thinking began to emerge. He realized that his true passion was not just in solving equations, but in teaching and inspiring others to think differently. The technical foundation for Netflix was laid when Reed returned to the United States to study artificial intelligence at Stanford. He fell in love with the world of computers and eventually founded Pure Software. His first product, a tool called Purify, was a breakthrough for software developers trying to find hidden bugs in their code. Pure Software was a financial success and went public in 1995, but for Reed, it was a period of immense personal struggle. As the company grew, he felt like he was drowning. Every time a mistake happened, he would implement a new rule or process to prevent it from recurring. Eventually, he realized he had built a company so suffocatingly bureaucratic that it had lost its ability to innovate. He was so frustrated with his own performance that he twice asked the board to fire him, but they refused.
When Pure Atria was eventually sold to Rational Software for $750 million, Reed felt like a failure, despite the massive payout. He felt his ego had become too entwined with the image of his company. However, that failure was the catalyst for everything that followed. He vowed that his next venture would be different. He brought with him a group of elite engineers and leaders from Pure, determined to build a culture of freedom and responsibility that could scale without the heavy hand of bureaucracy. He had learned that a great CEO shouldn't be the one making every decision, but rather the one setting the context so that everyone else can lead. By the time he founded Netflix, many of today's tech giants didn't even exist. Google was founded a year later, and the first iPhone was still a decade away. Mark Zuckerberg was still a child, and Facebook was years from being launched in a Harvard dorm room. Reed was ahead of his time, already envisioning a world where distribution was seamless and global. Even when he faced massive setbacks, such as the 2011 Quickster debacle, where he nearly destroyed the company by splitting the DVD and streaming services and raising prices, his analytical nature and willingness to admit mistakes saved him. He understood that in a rapidly changing world, the biggest threat is not your competitors, but your own lack of innovation. He often says that Netflix isn't just competing with other streaming platforms, it is competing with the human need for sleep. This portrait of Reed Hastings shows us a man who turned his early management failures into a blueprint for one of the most successful cultural experiments in business history. The birth of Netflix and the war with the giant. I have often heard the story of how a $40 late fee for an overdue copy of Apollo 13 led to the creation of Netflix. While this anecdote makes for a great marketing pitch, the reality is far more grounded in the daily commute of two ambitious entrepreneurs.
Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph spent hours carpooling to their offices at Pure Software, brainstorming ideas for a new business. They were searching for their own version of Amazon, looking for a product they could sell or rent online. At first, they considered VHS tapes, but they were too bulky and expensive to ship. Then they heard about a new format called the DVD. To test their theory, they bought a music CD, slipped it into a simple blue envelope, and mailed it to Reed's house. When that disc arrived intact, they knew they had stumbled upon something that could change the way the world watched movies. Netflix officially launched in April 1998 as the world's first online DVD rental store. In the beginning, it was a modest operation. They were based in a converted bank, and the vault that once held money was now the storage space for their collection of 900 titles. It was a time when few people even knew what a DVD was, let alone owned a player. But the real breakthrough didn't come until late 1999, when Reed, who had taken over as CEO, introduced the Marquee program. This was the birth of the monthly subscription model. By charging a flat fee and eliminating due dates and late fees, Netflix removed the single biggest point of frustration for movie renters. It was a bold move inspired by the simplicity of a gym membership, where you pay once and use the facilities as much as you want.
As Netflix began to grow, they found themselves in the crosshairs of Blockbuster, a global empire with thousands of physical stores. In 2000, when Netflix was still struggling and losing money, Reed and his team flew to Dallas to meet with Blockbuster's executives. They made a daring proposal. Netflix would handle Blockbuster's online presence in exchange for $50 million. Blockbuster's leadership essentially laughed them out of the room. They saw Netflix as a niche business with no real future. Looking back, that rejection was the best thing that ever happened to us. It forced us to become leaner and more innovative. We realized that we weren't just competing on price, we were competing on convenience and technology. To survive against such a massive competitor, we leaned heavily into our technical roots. We developed Cinematch, a recommendation engine that used data to suggest movies tailored to each user's specific tastes. This allowed us to keep our inventory moving, introducing people to smaller, independent films when the big blockbusters were out of stock. We also forged strategic partnerships with hardware manufacturers. We made sure that every person who bought a new DVD player or a gaming console found a free Netflix trial inside the box. While Blockbuster was weighed down by the massive overhead of their retail stores and a mountain of debt, we were building a scalable digital platform. The war was long and brutal, but the outcome was a testament to the power of digital transformation. Blockbuster eventually tried to catch up with their own online service, but they were too late and too inconsistent. By the time they realized that the internet was the future of television, Netflix had already gone public and secured a loyal subscriber base of over 500,000 people. The giant that had once mocked us was forced to file for bankruptcy in 2010. This journey taught me that a clear vision and a willingness to disrupt your own success are far more valuable than a legacy of dominance. We didn't just beat Blockbuster, we redefined the very concept of entertainment by focusing on what the customer truly wanted: simplicity, choice, and the freedom to watch whatever they liked, whenever they liked. Unique cultural philosophy: freedom, responsibility, and trust. I have always believed that the most powerful weapon Netflix possessed was not its technology or its vast library of films, but its radical corporate culture. This culture was largely shaped by Reed Hastings, who was determined to avoid the bureaucratic traps that had stifled his previous company, Pure Software. At Pure, every time someone made a mistake, a new rule was written to prevent it from happening again. Eventually, the company became so thick with regulations that only people who liked following rules wanted to work there, while the creative thinkers fled. When Reed started Netflix, he vowed to do the opposite. He wanted to build a culture that thrived on freedom and responsibility, one that would attract the most talented people in the world and give them the space to do their best work. The core of this philosophy is captured in a document known as the Netflix Culture Deck. It is a series of slides that outlines our values, from high performance and radical honesty to the rejection of traditional management hierarchies. Unlike most companies that display vague mission statements on their walls, we use the Culture Deck as a living constitution. It tells potential employees exactly what to expect. We are not a family, we are a professional sports team. In a family, you stay together regardless of performance. On a pro team, every player on the field must be a star in their position.
If they fall to a mediocre level, we give them a generous severance package and replace them with someone better. We call this the keeper test. Managers are encouraged to ask themselves if they would fight to keep an employee if that person wanted to leave for a competitor. If the answer is no, it is better for both parties to move on early.
This focus on excellence allows us to offer a level of freedom that is almost unheard of in the corporate world. Might nam we had a standard vacation policy, but an employee pointed out that since we didn't track the hours people worked during the day or on weekends, it made no sense to track their days off. We decided to stop tracking vacation altogether. We told our staff to take the time they needed, as long as their work was done and they coordinated with their teams. We found that when you treat people like adults, they act like adults. This same logic applies to our travel and expense policies. Instead of a thick handbook of limits and approvals, we have a simple 5-word rule: act in Netflix's best interest. We trust our people to spend the company's money as if it were their own, focusing on what is necessary and worthy for the job. Reed Hastings himself models this culture of accessibility and trust. He does not have a private office. Instead, he wanders through the various departments with his laptop, sitting at any available desk. This makes him approachable and reinforces the idea that leadership is not about status or making top-down commands. He believes the role of a leader is to set the context, not to exercise control. If a manager provides clear information about the company's strategy and goals, they should be able to step back and let their team make the decisions. Reed often says he is most proud of a quarter where he didn't have to make a single major decision himself. However, this freedom only works if it is coupled with radical transparency and a commitment to dissent. We share almost all information across the company, from internal strategy memos to detailed financial results. We want our employees to feel a deep sense of responsibility for the whole business, and they can only do that if they have the same data the executives have. We also require people to speak up when they disagree. In most organizations, staying silent is the safe choice, but at Netflix, silent disagreement is considered disloyal. We believe that the best ideas only emerge when they are challenged and tested.
The importance of this was proven by our biggest failure, the Quickster debacle. When Reed decided to split the DVD and streaming services and raise prices in 2011, he moved too fast and ignored the signs of customer frustration. Looking back, many of our senior leaders admitted they thought the move was a mistake, but felt that Reed was usually right, so they didn't push back hard enough. This taught us a painful lesson about arrogance. It reminded us that as a leader, your job is to actively hunt for dissenting opinions and to create a safe harbor where people feel obligated to tell you when you are wrong. Today, we continue to refine this culture, knowing that our ability to adapt and innovate depends entirely on the trust, freedom, and responsibility we give to our people. Digital transformation, the internet TV revolution, and the power of data. When I launched Netflix back in 1997, the World Wide Web was a vastly different place. It was a time of screeching dial-up modems and shaky connections, where even the idea of watching a video online seemed like a distant dream. Yet, from those very first days, my team and I were obsessed with the idea of bypassing physical discs and moving straight into digital distribution. Before we found the success everyone sees today, we had to navigate a series of expensive and frustrating failures. In 2000, we tried our first movie download service, but the technology simply wasn't ready. It took a staggering 16 hours to download a single film, and customers still had to pay an extra fee for internet access. A few years later, we experimented with a $300 hardware player, but that too failed because the wait times remained unbearable. These early stumbles were painful, but they taught us a vital lesson. We couldn't just offer digital content. We had to offer instant gratification. The real turning point came in 2007. As internet speeds began to climb and YouTube started to show the world that streaming was possible, I realized the moment had finally arrived. We launched Instant Watch, and the revolution began. At first, it was quite limited. You could only watch on a PC, the quality was nowhere near DVD standards, and you needed specific software just to make it work. But the response was electric. In just 6 months, we saw 5 million views. I knew then that the future of television would not be found in a schedule set by a network executive, but in the hands of the viewers themselves. To truly succeed, we had to get Netflix off the computer screen and into the living room. We began a bold series of partnerships with hardware manufacturers like LG and gaming giants like Microsoft and Sony.
By getting the Netflix app onto the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation, we didn't just change how people watched movies, we changed what their gaming consoles were for. We even convinced manufacturers to put a dedicated Netflix button on their remote controls, making our service as easy to access as changing the channel.
However, this revolution was about much more than just a new way to deliver video. It was about a fundamental shift in how we understood our audience. I have always maintained that Netflix is a technology company first and an entertainment company second. Every time someone logs in, our systems are working behind the scenes to gather an incredible amount of data. We don't just see what you watch, we see when you pause, what you search for, and whether you lose interest halfway through an episode. By aggregating this information from over 150 million subscribers, we created a system that could predict human desire with startling accuracy. This was the birth of true personalization. Instead of showing the same library to everyone, we used algorithms like Cinematch to create a unique experience for every single person. We discovered that human taste is often quirky and unpredictable, and our data allowed us to suggest that perfect romantic comedy or niche documentary exactly when a viewer was in the mood for it. Data also became the guiding light for our creative decisions. By analyzing viewing habits, we identified the exact tipping points for different genres. We learned that fans of horror and thrillers tend to binge through seasons much faster than those watching political dramas. We even found that there is often a specific episode in a series where, once a viewer reaches it, there is a 70% chance they will finish the entire season. To keep sharpening this edge, we even launched the Netflix Prize in 2006, offering $1 million to any team that could improve our recommendation accuracy by 10%. This contest wasn't just about the math. It was a public declaration of our commitment to innovation. Today, when we decide to greenlight a new series or set a production budget, we aren't just guessing. We use what I call informed intuition. We start with the hard data to understand the potential audience, but we leave the actual storytelling to the creators. This marriage of cold numbers and human emotion is what allowed us to stop being just a distributor and start being a global powerhouse of original content. We proved that in the digital age, the most valuable asset isn't just the content you own, but the deep, data-driven relationship you have with your viewers.
Global dominance, educational vision, and the future decade. On a bright morning in January 2016, at a luxury hotel in Las Vegas, I stood among thousands of people and watched as Reed Hastings stepped onto the stage to make an announcement that would change the map of digital entertainment forever. In just a few minutes, he revealed that Netflix had officially flipped the switch in 130 new countries, including India, Vietnam, and Russia. It was the moment a sleeping giant truly woke up to its global potential, turning internet television into a borderless reality. To make this work smoothly across nearly 200 nations, we had to build our own massive infrastructure called Open Connect. We placed specialized storage boxes inside local data centers so that a viewer could hit play and see their movie instantly, without the frustration of lag or buffering. Our strategy was shifting fundamentally. We were no longer just a Hollywood exporter of American culture. We were becoming a platform for the best storytellers in every corner of the world. International original series like the German thriller Dark, or our productions in Mexico and India, proved that local stories could find a global audience if given the right platform. We even took the unusual step of heavily investing in high-quality English dubbing for international shows, realizing that this was the key to reaching a much larger audience than traditional subtitling ever could.
But the story of Reed Hastings and his vision for the future extends far beyond the flickering screens of our living rooms. Many people are surprised to learn that after selling his first company, Reed chose to enroll in a master's program for education policy at Stanford. His deep concern for how we teach the next generation wasn't just a side project. It was a passion rooted in his years as a volunteer math teacher in Africa. He spent years serving on the California State Board of Education and navigated through fierce political battles to protect his belief in charter schools. Reed looked at the education system through the lens of a technologist and a businessman, believing that schools should be run with the same long-term planning and leadership stability as a successful corporation. He saw a direct parallel between how Netflix suggests movies and how technology could personalize learning for children. By supporting systems like Dreambox Learning, he helped champion software that tracks thousands of data points for every student, adjusting the difficulty of lessons in real time to match their unique pace.
For Reed, giving away the majority of his wealth through the Giving Pledge or starting the Hastings Fund to support college education for minority students was simply a way of paying back the system that had allowed him to succeed. As we look toward the decade between 2020 and 2030, the landscape is shifting again into what many call the streaming wars. The arrival of massive competitors like Disney+, Apple TV+, and Amazon Prime has presented a true challenge to our dominance. We realized early on that we couldn't remain dependent on content from other studios when they were starting to pull their films back to their own platforms. This is why Reed placed our biggest bet yet on original content and the exploration of new ways to tell stories. The interactive film Bandersnatch from the Black Mirror series was a prime example of this innovation. It blurred the lines between a movie and a video game, allowing the audience to step away from being passive viewers and instead become the ones who decide the fate of the characters. By filming over 5 hours of footage for a single episode, we showed that we were willing to take enormous technical risks to stay ahead of the curve.
Even as we face the pressure to maintain subscriber growth and manage the billions of dollars in debt we have taken on to fund these productions, Reed Hastings maintains a remarkably steady perspective. He often says that true strategy isn't about trying to do everything safely, it is about having the courage to decide what you will not do, so you can focus entirely on your core mission. We might have faced walls in places like China due to strict censorship, but we have remained persistent in finding ways to exist there through licensing. In Reed's view, we are not just competing with other studios or streaming apps, we are competing with the human need for sleep and every other form of digital distraction. He believes that at its best, entertainment has the power to connect the world and create empathy between people who live in vastly different cultures. The road ahead will surely be filled with new mistakes and intense competition, but with a culture that prizes freedom, responsibility, and constant innovation, we are ready to adapt to whatever comes next in the way the world learns and plays. This journey from a few red envelopes to a global empire is a testament to the idea that if you are willing to disrupt yourself before someone else does, you can truly redefine the future. If you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe button so that more people can know about it. Thank you for your support. Wishing you a pleasant evening and happiness with your family. Goodbye, and see you in the next videos.